All right, so testing. Is my mic on? Is it on? Is it on? Is it live or is it Memorex? Anyways, I'm in this. I haven't actually fully read this announcement yet, but I'm disappointed before I. Maybe this is good, maybe this is bad, but this is kind of interesting. One of the things that did come up, there was a. I think I even had it in my Discord. Actually, there was a comment. Um, this one here that I actually had placed on my Discord, where they had said that Project Epoch, it says right here, I don't think Epoch will die, but it will drive enough players away until it is stable. And then it says, well, it drove me away too. No, Katos will not throw away 4 years of work and pull the plug. I don't want anything to do with Katos and his slimy ass. I don't know who said this, but we don't even know if this is a real post. But after reading the next part, it seems like this probably was a real post or a real communication. No, Katos throws away 4 years. Your best bet is he sells it to someone. Heard they had offers already. So we heard that this was kind of like one of the things that we had seen that they might have had offers to sell Project Ebog. And this is I haven't read this whole thing yet. Hey, what's up, Sam? I haven't read this whole thing yet, but I mean, let me just read this. This is actually kind of. I mean, there's so many things about this that I on the initially, and I like I said, I've only read through like a few sentences of this. It just seems like I don't really like, you know what I mean. But maybe let's just read it, okay? Let's just read it. I just woke up, so give me a second. I'm still trying to wake up. So this is a mega update that will contain a lot of information. Thank you for your patience. Let's go ahead and zoom in because I'm old and I can't see. I think for your patience while we work through all the details. While we worked through all the details of everything we have to share for you, it is clear that our launch was not successful. This is due to some mistakes, failures on our part, but also a number of unforeseen circumstances and a perfect storm of in-real-life events that made solving these issues challenging. As a team, we want to apologize to those who are disappointed, both our long-term community members and newer denizens of our version of Azeroth. So where does that leave us? Project Epoch will return soon. We have entered into an agreement with Sensual. First off, what's up, Radish? Yeah, this is. Here's the thing. I don't like Ascension WoW. Okay, you know, I mean, I played Ascension WoW like I don't know, a while ago, and I had fun playing Ascension WoW. But I played Ascension WoW for about 2 months, and then I basically kind of told myself I'd probably never play Ascension WoW again. And that the reason is the people that were behind Ascension WoW are just it's just greed. Like the way they run that project, the way they like monetize it, it's just I don't really like how Ascension WoW does. Like their stuff is too much like retail WoW. Like Ascension WoW is like if some people is like fucking if Bobby Kotick or or like Ian Hazakostas like broke off and started their own company. It feels like it'd be Ascension WoW. You know what I mean? It's like all about making money. It's like they don't care about the soul of vanilla WoW at all. Like it's all this bastardized content. I mean, Ascension WoW reminded me a lot of Season Discovery. Well, Season Discovery obviously looked too much at Ascension WoW when they created Season of Discovery because it's just this bastardized version of World of Warcraft. So as soon as I saw that Ascension WoW was going to in any way be linked in with Project Epic, I just feel like that's just going to drive the project into the dirt. But let's read what they have. I mean, they're just gonna try to make money off of it, right? They're just. But let's take a look. I mean, and I've heard enough about Katos, and again, this is just my feelings, right? My and like I said, I've always said that I'm very good at judging. Like I always feel like I'm pretty good judge of character, and I'm pretty good judge of or pretty good at feeling like where things are going. I've always been pretty good at that. But I just feel like Katos is just trying to make money at this point. Like he's just saying, you know what, this is too much work, blah blah blah. Let's just see if I can cash out and make some money on this. And I hope I'm wrong, but let's just read this nonsense. We're just we have entered into agreement with Ascension. Wow, to move. to infrastructure built and maintained by Ascension server team. So again, maintained by Ascension server team. Project Epoch will retain full creative control over the game in the shop. And this is interesting because they said and the shop. I think that's really interesting that they mentioned the shop because Ascension WoW, again, like I said, is all about, I mean, they're all about making money, right? And their shop pretty much tells you that. So the fact that they mentioned the shop is I think they probably knew the community or people who know anything at all about private server community and Ascension WoW would realize that Ascension WoW is about making money. And this change will allow Project Epoch team to focus specifically on content creation. We know this news comes as a surprise. It doesn't come as a surprise, to be honest. I actually, this is one of the paths I thought they may go. We know the news. This news comes as a surprise. So read on for answers to many questions that we anticipate you have on the Epoch side. To be explicitly clear, basically here, let's see. To be here, Project Epoch retains full creative control over what enters the game from a gameplay aesthetic and monetization perspective will continue to develop. And monetization perspective. It's funny because like, up to this point, we haven't heard anything at all about monetization of Epoch. And that's one of the things I've mentioned several times. Is that I felt that one of the cool things about Project Epoch is it didn't seem like they were just making it to make money. But there was one thing that when Magic left the team is that he was working on some sort of Project Epoch tokens or Project Epoch Gold. And I've said this before, I've said this many times that private servers pretty much only exist for one reason, and that's to make money for the people that develop them. Never, ever, don't ever be fooled by what private servers makers tell you, right? I mean, they're not doing it just because out of the goodness of their heart, because they're angels just out there spending all this time doing a project that's just for you, so you could have fun playing their game. I mean, there may be some servers out there that are like that, but it's very, very rare. Most of these private server projects are done because they're trying to make money, right? Which is kind of slimy in a way because they're making money off a game that they didn't create, right? So it's a little slimy. And if I ever did a private server project, if I ever did like a private server WoW, I wouldn't monetize it. Like what I would do is I would say, hey, I would do like what Project Epoch did originally, which is say, hey, if you don't want to support the project, that's fine, right? But I wouldn't do like what Ascension WoW does. Ascension WoW does some serious monetization. Ascension WoW did the that like 23 new class bastardization version of World of Warcraft where they Ascension WoW charges you money just to get into their alphas and betas, right? Like if you want to play like their new versions like Bronzebeard, you have to pay money to get access to that shit. And it's not even a finalized version of those games. And they did this one Conquest of Azeroth thing where you had to pay like $50 or something just to get into the beta, and that shit like drug on for like years before they. And I still don't know if they've ever finished that. But so I didn't think it was really worth your money. So you know, I don't really care for Ascension WoW. Just personally, that's my own opinion. Project Epoch gains access to developers from across the broader Ascension umbrella of servers, allowing us to increase our technical and artistic complexity while executing our vision at a higher quality than ever before. I don't know. As a result of this partnership, K-Toads, Eridun, Kess, Heretics. Now, I thought Intra left the team. And Imblave will continue to create the server's content without the stress of managing the infrastructure or community, because obviously they sucked at managing the community. It's like one of the biggest fails of Project Epoch was how they managed their Discord server. Project Epoch's plans for our in-game store aren't changing. We won't have any pay-to-win features. I don't remember. I don't know about you guys, but I don't ever really remember Project Epoch talking about their store. Like, when is there ever, you know, Ascension WoW's, again, like I said, I'm not a fan of Ascension WoW. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like how Ascension WoW does their stuff. They're there obviously to make money, and they're greedy. Ascension WoW's greedy, you know. Like I said, Ascension WoW feels like if Blizzard wanted to create like a redheaded stepchild, it would be Ascension WoW. But it was just funny because I don't really remember Project Epoch ever really talking about a store. In fact, Hold on a second. In fact, if you go back to the hour-long video, the hour-long interview with K-Totes, they asked K-Totes in that video, would they be selling like merchandise, right? Would they put up a shop where they'd sell merchandise? They did, I don't think they asked specifically if there would be a shop for like in-game items. I can't remember, but they did ask him about like merchandise or some sort of a shop. And K-Totes' response was, "We don't know yet. We haven't, we don't have anything yet, or we don't know if we're going to do something like that." It just felt like one of the cool things about Project Geek was it just didn't feel like they were doing it for the money. Which, again, I'll say it again: people that do private servers are usually doing it because they want to make money, right? Yeah, yeah. Chris, don't be. Yes, they say that Epoch were the only guys in control of the shop, right? Okay, they say that. They say that, but why would Ascension WoW help them out, right? Why would Ascension WoW go into some sort of an agreement with Project Epoch if it didn't benefit them in some way? They're not going to sit here. Look at this. Ascension WoW is not going to sit here and help them out, right? Ascension WoW is not going to basically manage their infrastructure and do all that stuff just out of the goodness of their heart, right? Just out of the goodness of their heart. Oh, we're nice. We're just going to come in and help you guys out, right? They're not going to do it for free. Exactly what, yeah, they say that. They say that. Hey, what's up, Alex? We kind of like there were some grumblings that some people had offered to buy Project Epoch, right? So like if you go to, like I said, once even in my own Discord here, right? We had this comment. No way Kato throws away 4 years of work and pulls the plug. Your best bet is he sells it to someone heard they already have offers. So we already kind of knew that them selling it and possibly or doing something along the lines of selling Project Epoch or doing something with another project, right? Yeah. Hey, what's up, Ripoff? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like Chris, you can sit there and say like, "This is great." Oh, the Ascension's gonna help them out. Oh, they're gonna sweep in like a guardian angel. Oh, thank you. But like, if it was me, like, it's hard to say. But it's like like Kato, it's just I keep hearing all these. There's all these grumblings around Katos, and they're not good. There's things around Katots that have been said that really aren't good things. I mean, there's some private messages we've seen, and we don't know how much of this stuff is true. But my thought process on a lot of that stuff is where there's smoke, there's fire. If there's enough people saying bad things about somebody, probably some of it's true. So, but again, I don't know Katots personally. Maybe he's the greatest guy in the world, you know. And again, as I always will say, I hope that Project Epoch, works out. But when I read this, it's like Microsoft coming in and buying Activision, or actually it's like Activision getting bought. It's like Blizzard getting bought by Activision. That wasn't really a good thing, right? I don't know. Let me finish reading this nonsense. Project Epoch plans for in-game store. Again, when did they ever even talk about an in-game store? I don't remember Project Epoch really ever talking about an in-game store. And all of a sudden, once they merge with Ascension, immediately they're talking about, you know, our plans for the in-game store. And they realize, here's the thing, people, they're not stupid. Well, I mean, to be honest, they are kind of stupid. At least they've shown us that they're pretty stupid because they fucked everything up. But they mentioned it very early in this post about the shopper about money, right? Where does it? Right here. They mentioned it like in the, I think, the third paragraph. Project will return soon. We've entered into agreement with Ascension WoW to move infrastructure built and maintained by Ascension server team. Project Epoch will retain. See, they even put it in bold. Project Epoch will retain full creative control of the game, and I think it's really interesting that they say we will retain full creative control of the game and the shop. They never really mentioned the shop up until this point, right? Never even mentioned it, right? At least not that I can remember. I don't remember them ever talking about a shop. Now we knew probably a shop was coming, Because once again, I will tell you, private projects don't exist just out of the goodness of their fucking hearts, right? They're like, woohoo, we're just gonna be great and put up this thing for spend our weekends every weekend for the next 6 months just because we want to do something for free. I mean, they're gonna want something out of it, you know. You think it's a win-win? You think it's a win-win, huh? I hope you're right. You think it's a win-win, man? You're fucking drink. You are, dude. You are You're fucking drinking the Kool-Aid. You're smoking the copium, bro. If you think it's all good. Every project needs money somehow. Yeah, that's why. But they had money, right? Project Epoch was already getting quite a bit of money, right? Project Epoch already has, or had, right? Look at this. Oh my God, they lost a lot of sponsors. Wow. Didn't they have like 500 and some sponsors? Okay, well, this wasn't met. So this already probably wasn't met with a lot of love from a lot of people because they had like 500 and some sponsors. So they've lost a lot of sponsors because, wow. Yeah, Chris, it's fine. Whatever, man. If merging with Ascension helps them to get their project out in their so-called vision, but at this point, I don't even know what their vision is anymore. I don't know what the vision of Project Epoch is anymore. And I'm not a Project Epoch Andy. I thought Project Epoch looked cool. And I hope that it works, but I just don't like Ascension. Here's the thing, Chris. I don't really like Ascension. I don't like Ascension's products. They had 360. I thought they had like 500. Didn't they have like 500? I was a fucking sponsor up until look, I was a sponsor up until I canceled my sponsorship, right? Because I kind of got sick of their nonsense. No, they had more. They had. I thought they had. Didn't they have more? Yeah, maybe they went up. But anyways, I thought they had more. I thought they were in the 500s, but I could be misremembering. So I'm not sure. I have to go back to one of my streams, one of my VODs, and look at it. Well, yeah, I thought they were like 500 and something, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. So don't take my comments on that as factual because I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at one of my streams from a couple days ago. Because I typically have been watching this because when I first became a sponsor, they were around they were at 50. They were like 58 or 50 something sponsors when I became a sponsor, and then they shot up, right? But here's the thing. I mean, they're getting money. Even if the average amount of money from sponsors is only like $10, you're talking that's well over it's $3,750 a month, right? So you talk about they don't have any money, right? I mean they've got enough money coming in to support to pay for their servers. I guarantee you the server doesn't cost. At least I hope it doesn't cost 3,000. I don't know how much it costs to run a full-time game server. I mean, I'm a programmer, right? That's what I do for a living, and I know how much our servers cost for our web servers, but those aren't going to have the same traffic that possibly like Epoch server would have, but it shouldn't be that much. Whatever, I don't know. I'm not drinking the copium, I can tell you that. I'm not sitting here thinking this is a good thing. I don't think this is a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing for them, but, but whatever. I mean, like I said, I hope it's a good thing. I hope they put out a product that's fun to play. I mean, nobody cares. I mean, I don't care who the fuck they work with as long as what they put out is a good product, right? It's a good product, but yeah, he did rip off. That's what it feels like to me. He just bailed, man. He couldn't take the pressure. It's like too much pressure. I can't take it. Let's just sell out. But again, I'm not at fucking Project Epoch headquarters. I'm not at the HQ, baby. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so I'm not going to speak for K-Totes. Maybe K-Totes is a great guy. Maybe this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to Project Epoch. He could be. Could be. All right, let's finish reading this. server itself does, you know. You said you're new to WoW, but I see a lot of these two private servers go same route, and it's uh, it's semi so fishy with collab with Ascension. You will see the cash shop be very awesome. Like now, when you say the cash shop be very awesome, what do you mean? You think the cash shop is awesome? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, Ascension WoW is nonsense. I mean, if you're someone who really cares about playing a classic plus, Ascension WoW doesn't have any shit that's classic plus. Don't be fooled by their bronze bid or any of their nonsense. And other stuff is, I mean, and again, classic plus is such an interesting topic because classic plus could mean a different thing to everybody, right? It can mean a different thing to everybody. That's why it's kind of one of those like polarizing topics, right? But to me, classic plus just means, a version of vanilla Warcraft where you basically kind of just continue on from vanilla and you try to maintain that same feeling of a slow leveling process, of a more challenging content, and a game that revolves more around community, right? Community and not flying mounts, not glitz and glamour, not too many abilities, not too much power creep, no fucking borrowed power systems, none of that nonsense, right? It's all about just a very community based MMO that you play with your friends and has interesting content that kind of the stories are rooted in the base game of World of Azeroth and I think even like if you play Turtle WoW, like there was a video that came out just recently. Some guy said, this is what Classic Plus is supposed to be, and it was just someone who had put off playing Turtle WoW for a long time, and they played Turtle WoW, and like, wow, Turtle WoW is really good, but I don't really want to go down that path. But it's very to have that. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were saying, Shin. Shinda Densen. I love that name, man. Shinda Densetsu. Shinda Densetsu. I think you told me how to pronounce it the other day, right? Shinda Densetsu. Anyways, it's very sad to have that much pay to win. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure what you meant by that. Their cash shop is crazy. Like Ascension WoW is greedy, and the problem with Ascension WoW is most of their versions of the game are nothing. They're not like World of Warcraft games, right? And they're not World of Warcraft. They're so bastardized and so different. They're like entirely new games. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I've played Ascension WoW for a couple months, and I had fun playing it. But it was just like I was playing the version of Ascension WoW where you could basically just create characters that could have any ability. Like I had like a character that had like Earth Shield, Shaman Earth Shield, had like Renew, had Priest Bubble, but had like rogue abilities like Backstab, and you know what I mean, just crazy shit, right? That's not Vanilla Plus, obviously. But anyways, let me finish this. Let me finish going through some of this stuff. As a result, this partnership, blah, 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 and Inplay will continue to create the server's content without the stress of managing the infrastructure. I think it's funny they say without the stress of managing the infrastructure of the community, because we know that Epoch was god-awful at managing their community. And it's easy for everybody to criticize. It's easy to criticize when you're on the outside looking in. And I'm being very critical, and I'm trying not to be critical, but they haven't really shown us. It's not like Project Epoch's really shown us. I mean, all they've really shown us is that they're very bad at managing communication. They're very bad at managing the community. So they haven't really shown us. You know, you have people like Magic who left the team. We have a lot of grumblings behind the scenes that people don't like K-Totes, that he's arrogant. There's just a lot of smoke there. So that's why there's concern. That's why I'm concerned for the future of this project. Um, all right, so Project US plan for our in-game store aren't changing. I just love how this came out of nowhere. They never really mentioned the store until now. We won't have any, although like Magic apparently was working on some sort of like I mentioned this already, but Magic was somehow working on some sort of like website with like Project Epoch Gold, which so they were obviously working on a store. Like Project Epoch was obviously working on some sort of cash shop. We won't have any pay to win features. Okay, fine. Project Epoch staff will gain access to all of Ascension WoW's bonding tools. This is a massive development that enables us to craft dream content. Ooh, dream content. Long term, we can design more complex raid encounters, provide new and better interface options, additional quality of life perks, very cosmetic glyphs. Much more quickly with access to Ascension's capabilities than we would have been able to on our own. Players that earn beta pet rewards will still receive those rewards. Our ghetto sponsors will become deprecated as of today. Previous sponsors will be immortalized in game with a plaque. Oh, I wonder if I'll be immortalized. Am I going to be immortalized? I mean, I definitely was one of the earliest sponsors. um, with a plaque. We're going to be immortalized in the game with a plaque. Like, I really give a shit about that, to be honest. I could care less. Just put out something that's fun to play. That's all I care about. Essentially, we're responsible for building and maintaining Project Epoch server core. Essentially, infrastructure are a massive upgrade to our server performance, quality, security, hardening, DDoS protection, player support tickets, anti-cheat, real money trading, botting mitigation, many features. Essentially, we'll be able to spin up and oh, look at this is interesting. Essentially, we'll be able to spin up and merge realms as necessary to handle population demand. So this, yeah, it's gonna have a bunch of transmog crap. So this is, I mean, this I will say that this is a benefit. Okay, so reading through this, I don't see any, like reading through this, I don't see a lot of benefits. Like to merging with these guys, like the only benefit so far that I've seen is this. Ascension will be able to spin up and merge realms as necessary to handle population demand. So Ascension, we're not gonna. The one benefit of this is they're going to be able to put up servers to meet the demand. Obviously, they'll be able to put out their content, and the servers are probably going to work. You know what I mean? Well, hey John, what's up? Even Dutch, lead of Ascension, confirmed that they will not have the same items on the cash shop. They will be in K-Toad's hands. See, that's what scares me. It like having it in K-Toad's hands kind of scares me, to be honest. You know. I think the jury. I just feel like the jury's out on K-Toads. You know what I mean? Like the only interview the only thing I've ever seen with K-Toads is the interview that he did. And he did come across as being, yeah, no, that's not what I'm. I know it was going to be in his hands anyway, but that's what I'm saying. Like, like it's always been a little concern of mine. Like after the interview with K-Toads, the hour interview, and then his comments, which I talked about before, right? What's up, Daniel? Which the comments which I talked about before, basically saying stuff like, you know, I'll release the server whenever the fuck I want, basically, is what he said. We'll bring the servers up pretty much whatever the fuck we want. This is why, like, the people that get all copium, right? You know? Is that what it was, Stranger? They said it would be mugs and shirts, which is cool. I mean, that's a cool cash shop. Like, if you do, like, mugs and t-shirts and stuff, I think that's great. I mean, I think that's a great way to raise money for your project because you want people to, you want to have a nice community, right? You want to have a good community. But I bet you Turtle Wow people are just giving this. I bet Turtle Wow people are laughing their asses off when they read this shit. I can't imagine the Turtle Wow Discord. But yeah, how long till we get the XP pots? How long till we get the achievement board? What does Ascension Wow? They've got their achievement, right? Ascension. Look. Here, visit the shop. I mean, look at this bronze beard, Grizzly Hills. Here, become a supporter. 20, 50, 100, 150. Become a celestial observer. Character service, travel specializations, heirloom leveling gear. You can even buy hearth. You can buy all these hearthstones in Ascension WoW that basically hearth you to certain areas, right? So you could buy like 4 or 5 hearthstones, and like you could just be able to hearth like all over the place, like just like at any moment. I'm just gonna hearth here, and then 2 seconds later I'm gonna hearth there. But where's the leaderboard they had? Here, hold on a second. I don't like that when I came here. It was logged into my account. That kind of freaked me out, actually. Um, I wanted to see where they have the. Oh, look, they've got a bundle. They got the Conquest of Azeroth Elune bundle, the Conquest of Azeroth Area 52 bundle, the Bronzebeard bundle. I mean, their shop is extensive. It is extensive, but they have like a leaderboard. There, the gear is coming in. You have to prestige once. That's what it is, the prestige thing, right? Like me and Blue were playing Ascension WoW, and basically I think prestige, like every time you level to 60, you get like a prestige rank or something. And there was like a leaderboard for that, and it was kind of addictive because you're like, oh, I could like. But what it was is you use the XP pots. So you'd use the XP pots, and you'd build up your character level to 1 to 60. Like literally, you level to 160 in like I don't know, like an hour or something, or and you just do it over and over and over again. And there was a big leaderboard. It was like this horrible thing where it kind of sucked you in. It's like you're a crack addict trying to constantly like level to 61 to 60 over and over and over again just so you can maintain this rank on this leaderboard, right? Yeah. Oh, there were some bugs like that, but Ascension will be responsible for building and maintaining Project Epoch server core. Ascension's infrastructure offers massive upgrade. Ascension will be able to look at all I keep seeing is Ascension, 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 right? I mean, they're saying that they're going to maintain control over their content. Here you go. Yeah, give it the thumbs down. Fuck that. It's definitely getting a thumbs down from me. So, just because I'm not a fan of Ascension WoW. But Project Epoch will be accessed through the Ascension launcher. Oh, have you guys seen the Ascension launcher? I don't have it running right now. All existing Project Epoch accounts will be moved to Ascension. If you already have an Ascension account, Ascension will handle the necessary work to merge your accounts. I don't know how they would recognize my account, but on Ascension, but I have an Ascension account. Ascension will help with the Project Epoch Discord so we can focus on making content. This is okay. Support offered through Discord, notification server maintenance, so on. We have already set up the new servers and begin the process of moving Epoch Core onto them. Along with Ascension's performance fixes. I said I don't. That's one thing. Someone had said that they thought that they were going to be switching cores, but I don't see that they're going to be switching cores. All I see here is that they're going to be taking their core, which is the Azeroth core, and just moving it onto one of Ascension's servers. Along with Ascension's performance fixes, I wonder what that really entails. Once that is complete, we will host a public stress test based on the results. We will schedule another stress test, or we will schedule a date for launch with this. I mean, this is good. I mean, this here sounds, sounds good, right? Like if they can put their core, their Azeroth core of their game onto like an Ascension server and test it, and it runs really well, and they can launch the game. It's so bizarre though. When Ascension, because Ascension rounds, not Ascension, sorry, Project Epoch's been around for a long time, right? So it's just so weird to do this pivot. Like I don't think we never would have saw this coming. Like 3 months ago, for example. This is not something I would have even thought of, right? Of course, once they had all the problems, this is something I'm not surprised by this at all because, like I said, there was some comments around the internet that they possibly had received offers for people to buy out Project Epoch. Um, isn't it funny? No matter what you do in life on planet Earth, whenever there's an opportunity for somebody to make money off of you or off of something, they jump in, right? Nobody would give a shit about Project Epoch until there were 50,000 people trying to log in and play it. Once that happened, people tried to get a piece of the pie, right? Essentially, it's like, well, we want a piece of the pie now. We can make some more money. Greed, man. Greed. So who was the guy? What was the guy's name in stream here? Chris. Chris, you were kind of like drinking the copium and saying, "Oh, this is all great, win-win." I mean, but wherever greed's involved, that's the thing that bothers me. Whenever it comes down to greed, and whenever it comes down to money, it's not usually, in my opinion, my opinion, it's not usually a good thing. Not for the vision. I mean, there's a vision for what Project Epoch was or what it is. There's a vision, and I guess it's Kato's vision, right? And we all kind of bought into that vision, Classic Plus, right? And we've all kind of watched the videos that they put out in the last few months, and that's why so many people tried to play on Project Epoch because what was presented to us was a pretty cool Classic Plus experience, And I think the biggest thing with Project Epoch was the 3.3.5a client was, people like a lot of people love Turtle WoW, but they don't like the client. So, that was a big selling point. So I think a lot of people, if Turtlewall comes out with Turtlewall 2.0 with Unreal Engine, if Turtlewall can come out with if they can somehow fix their client to feel more like a modern client, then I think a lot of people might switch from Epoch to Turtlewall. But we'll see about that's another discussion. But all existing project accounts will be moved to Ascension. If you already have an Ascension account, Ascension will handle the necessary work to merge your accounts. Ascension will help with Project Epoch Discord, so we focus mainly on making content. This is in regards to moderation support offered through Discord notifications on server main and so on. We've already been in the process of moving Epoch Core onto them, and all the Ascension's performance fixes. Once that's complete, we'll host a public test. Based on the results, we will either schedule another stress test or we'll schedule a date for launch with the benefit of not having to work around our Epoch staff schedules. Because Ascension will be handling the servers. With infrastructure off our hands, the content team will work on resolving bugs reported during the launch window and some new surprises. Our heartfelt appreciation goes out to those community who were supportive of our efforts these last 2 weeks. We are excited to get you in Project Epoch Azeroth as soon as possible. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I don't really know. A stranger. That's a good question. That's a great question. The server will now release 100%, but now Dutch has his claws in. But down the line a year from now, we're gonna see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Turtle Wow's been a long time. The thing is, Ascension Wow's not Classic Plus. Bronzebeard's not Classic Plus. Not my Classic Plus. It's not what I'm looking for. Like, you know, it doesn't take more than a few minutes of watching videos on Bronzebeard or some of the stuff that Ascension's creating that it's just another overpowered mess, like bastardization of Vanilla WoW. It's not. I don't think it's what most people are looking for in a Classic Plus experience. Uh, I don't know how much he sold it for. I mean, obviously, again, Ascension WoW is not going to do this unless they're getting something out of it. They have to be getting something out of it. And if you look back at the beginning of this post, um, right here, Project Epoch will retain full control of the game, and notice that, but again, they say and the shop. So I think what it was, I don't know who said it here in the stream, but it could just be that they've pledged to give them a percentage, right? They could just be like, well, we'll give you like 50%. It's going to be whatever it is. I'm sure it's a high number. Like, like if Epoch has their own shop that they manage, I guarantee you that because if Ascension is managing the entire infrastructure of the servers and the Discord server and all this other stuff, which they've said they're going to do, I guarantee you they're giving them a huge portion of any cash up that money that they make. It could be as high as like 30, 40, 50%. You know, I would say they probably asked if I was Dutch. I don't know who this Dutch guy is. I guess he's the person behind Ascension. I would have asked for like 50% at least. Say, oh yeah, we'll help you out. 50% of your cash out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, my reaction to this is not surprised because I'm not surprised because I'd heard the grumblings about them getting offers to sell. I just I think the reason I don't not the reason that I don't like this, okay, and it's not I don't care. It's not that I don't think that they can put out a good product. Like I mean, having Ascension help them probably helps them get the product out there, helps get Project Geekpie get out there so people can play it. The reason I don't like this is it really all revolves around K-Toads, right? It all revolves around integrity, and it all revolves around your own personal like goals for your project. You know what I mean? Like if it was me, like of course again, if it they had so many problems about getting the server out there. So at some point, I guess you say uncle, right? You like, you fold. You realize that your hand wasn't a winning hand, maybe. But I just feel like it's a little sleazy way. You know, it's like I'm just gonna cash my chips out in a certain way. You know, yeah. I don't know. I would just say that like my confidence level, like when you talk about like a level of confidence I have for Project Epoch, before Project Epoch came out, like a month before they launched the server, I was really excited. Like my confidence level was at a 7 or something, 7 out of 10. I was pretty confident they were going to put out a product that was pretty good, right? My confidence level for Project Epoch now, after this, actually goes down. Like my confidence level for like the quality of the product they put out and the lifetime of the how long will that product remain at a high level, right? That retains that classic plus ideal that I'm looking for. And like I said, like I already said, classic plus what somebody wants for classic plus, what I want could be different than what somebody else wants. I mean, everybody has their own idea of what classic plus is, but my confidence level doesn't go up because of this. It actually goes down, you know. So yeah, they definitely could have gone a different way, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Milan? Yeah, no. I mean, this is one way to go. This is certainly one way to go. My problem, Milan, is that I'm not a fan of Ascension WoW because I don't like I don't like the products that Ascension WoW puts out. But again, they say that they're gonna keep creative control. So I guess we just have to wait and see. This could be a great thing. This could be a great thing for Project Epoch. It could be a great thing, right? And it all comes. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that scares me. It all comes down to K-Totes. That's the thing that scares me because K-Totes, in my mind, has not proven to be a reliable. He's not proven to be a reliable source of good feeling of like well-being. You know, like you know, if you go back to some of the posts he said, they don't paint a pretty picture, right? When the community was all like trying when's the you know just asking Katos to give him information about when the server is going to be up, he started to turn into a total dick, saying stuff like "I'll bring the server up whenever the fuck I want" is basically what he was saying. So that's the person who's in control of this project, someone who can very easily lose their temper and be kind of a jackass. You know, that's my problem right now is that this is the person who's supposedly in control. That's what makes me worried. You know what I mean? That's what I worry about. It's not, I don't, I'm not worried about Ascension WoW coming in and again, and if he's that way, I mean, who knows? Maybe is the greed, and that's the thing, is the greed going to get to him? Is the greed going to take over? You know, is the person who's behind Project Ascension going to be like, hey, we can throw these things in the cash shop and you can make a shit ton? This is like, think about it this way. What if Ascension's saying this is, and just shows them their books and says this is how much money we make a month on Project Ascension, which I guarantee you, it's a shit ton, right? They're rolling in the dough at Project Ascension. Same thing with Warmane. We already know Warmane has said that they make millions a year. You know, and I think Ascension makes way more money than Warmane does. So is Katos going to give into the greed? How true is he going to remain to his vision? That's my concern. How true is he going to remain, you know, to the vision of Classic Plus? But, you know, we will have a good game for 2 years maybe, and then there will be infighting Sarah and Ascension will fuck Katos with Lube. That's how it goes. Yeah, we just, yeah. I just think, well, so you've spent money. That's the thing. I played Ascension WoW. and and I had fun in Ascension while the time I played it. Did you like the? Did you guys like the image I used for the stream? I specifically picked this image for the stream, guys, of someone being shot in the back with a bunch of arrows, because that's kind of what it feels like. I played Ascension. You can see 5 years ago, 3 years ago here, Project Ascension. Here I am playing Ascension WoW 5 years ago. But the thing that freaked me out, Christopher, with Ascension is I've played a lot of private servers. I've played retail. I've played World of Warcraft ever since it came out. I played beta WoW in 2004, and then once WoW came out, I played it. So I've been playing WoW for ever since WoW's been out, right? And I've played tons of private servers, but I never spent that much money on the game. Like in retail WoW, I never spent I went years and years playing World of Warcraft, where most of the money I spent was just on the sub. Like I didn't buy a lot of stuff in the cash shop in World of Warcraft or anything like that. I think the most money I spent was when the Burning Crusade came out. Actually, no, it wasn't the Burning Crusade, 'cause we had free transfers. I got free realm transfers from Doomhammer to Terracar because they offered free transfers, and I transferred because I was worried that the launch had so many people that the server would just be bogged down, and it turned out to be a big mistake because Terracar turned out to be an awful server. But I never really spent a lot of money in World of Warcraft outside of just the monthly sub. I played Ascension WoW for a month. I must have spent like $300 in a month. So here's a person, me, who doesn't spend a lot of money on on retail, had never really spent much money on any kind of a private server. But Ascension WoW, the way they're monetized, they get you. Like it's genius. The people that monetize their game, I mean, they're really good at putting up stuff that really pulls you in. It's easy to just spend a couple dollars, and then it's like you turn into a crack addict because you're like, oh, I need this potion of experience so I can level really quick. What got me was the whole like leveling 1 to 60 really quick so I could get those ranks and then rank up on the leaderboard. I'm like, yeah, I leveled 1 to 60 like 10 times, so now I'm ranking up this leaderboard. It seemed like a cool like kind of prestige thing to have. I think that's what they were called, prestige ranks. That's funny. It seemed like a cool thing to have. It was like genius. It's genius how they monetized Ascension. I mean, their team behind Ascension, that the one that puts together their cash shop, they're not stupid. I mean, they know what they're doing. But after I played the game for about a month and I realized I'd spent like $300, I immediately said, "What the hell am I doing? Why am I spending all this money on a game that's not even really World of Warcraft?" It didn't feel like WoW. It felt like this overpowered just mess of crap. That yeah, it's fun for a month, but it's gonna get bored. It's gonna get boring really quickly, right? So I immediately, pretty much after about a month, I quit, and I haven't really ever gone back and played because I thought that was just money that was kind of a waste. I was like, I wish I could get my money back, to be honest. But I did have fun. I mean, I did have fun, and I think Ascension for some people who are looking for a version of WoW that really isn't WoW, you know what I mean? You know, hey, what's up, Miles? I think for some people who are looking for a different version of WoW that has that kind of massive flexibility to build really custom classes, the way their the way their servers work. As far as there's the pick server where you can like every so many levels you get to pick one skill and it's random, and then there's the one where you have full control where you can pick out whatever abilities you want. So I mean, for some people that's really cool, but it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I come from Dungeons and Dragons. I want an MMO to be very old school. I want it to be old school, slow leveling. Community story. Like not crazy power creep. Not borrowed powers. I hate that shit. I don't like raid logging. I don't even like to raid. I don't like raiding because the game always turns into raid logging. Where you just log in to raid and then you log out. I hate that. And I don't like gear progression either. Like I think it's a system that has been around MMOs far too long, and I think that needs to be rethought. I'm not a fan of gear progression as the sole means of progression. There's always going to be gear, right? But as the sole means of progression, I don't like that. But Miles, my thought on the merger, good or bad? I think long term, in my opinion, long term it's definitely bad. I think it's definitely bad long term, and the reasons I think that is that Ascension is always proven to be about the money. They're always about making money. Also, I don't really at this point. based on everything that's happened over the past couple of months, I don't really trust K-Totes. I've lost trust in him based on his, and it's mostly just based on his comments on what he has said to the community. I don't trust him. And when you put someone that I don't really trust into an environment that revolves around greed, because to me, Ascension's a very greedy project that's just there to just really make a shit ton of money, and they do make a shit ton of money. So now you've got someone that I don't really trust very much, working into putting him into this kind of greedy situation. I'm concerned about how that's going to work out. So have a look at the mobile Star Wars game, Star Wars GOH. People are paying 2 to 3K a month. Wow, that's insane. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, that's not me though. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Milan. Here's the thing that's interesting, is how many different types of versions of WoW have we all played, right? Like if I think about the past year, how many different versions of World of Warcraft have I played? Like I've played the anniversary. I'm just thinking like different versions of WoW. So we've got anniversary WoW, we've got like the hardcore WoW, we've got classic classic WoW, the main branch, that goes through each expansion, like Burning Crusade. They're currently on Mist of Pandaria. So we got classic WoW, we got classic era WoW, which is just basically sitting back in vanilla forever. We got the anniversary realms, we got the hardcore realms, we got retail WoW, then we've got like Warmane I've played, and there's one that I'm forgetting. But I mean, 5, 6, 7 different versions of WoW, and that's just in the past probably year. So in the past year, I've literally leveled characters on like 4 or 5 types of World of Warcraft. So my point is, I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to do that. I want to play one game, one MMO, and I want to stay in that one MMO. I don't want to start over. I don't want to level 1 to 60 over and over again. And I mean, I don't mind that, but I just want to be in one server with one community, and I want to stay there, right? I want to stay there and just play. That's what I want. You know, you talk about like people trying to avoid a grind. I don't care about a grind. I love a grind. I played Lineage 2, and I loved Lineage 2. Lineage 2 was a big time grind. The fastest player to get to max level in Lineage 2 was 6 months. The fastest player to get to max level in Lineage 2. 6 months. And I loved it. Fucking loved Lineage 2. If there was a Lineage 2 server, if they could release a game that was like Lineage 2, but it was like not click to move, because remember Lineage 2 was click to move. If it was not click to move and it wasn't full of bots, I would play it. And it would be grindy as fuck, and I would play it, and I would love it. So I don't have a problem with grindy MMOs as long as the content, the kind of content that I'm looking for is there, which is challenging content. The one thing about Lineage 2 is it was challenging. Like it wasn't easy to run around in Lineage 2. I mean, if you were like I was a spell howler, I was a caster. Like if I ran into like 2 or 3 mobs at once and they came after me, I had to run. I couldn't like certain like mobs that were going to come up in my face and hit me. If I got 2 or 3 my level, I couldn't kill them. I mean, I might be able to kill them, but it was a pain in the ass. I mean, it was challenging. There were things in Lineage 2 when I went into a dungeon for the first time that I'd never been into, like a new area. I was literally scared. I'd walk around a corner, and if I saw like 3 or 4 monsters there, like right around the corner, I mean, there was fear. Like, when do you play World of Warcraft where you ever feel fear, right? Do you ever feel like you're nervous about aggroing a mob? Like, you don't really feel that in WoW, really. Not too much. There's no fear because it's not difficult. You're not like scared that these monsters are going to blow you up. It doesn't happen, right? You randomly changed every hour. You had to do a dungeon that randomly changed every hour and kill the boss just to make a guild? Crazy. Yeah. So the thing here's the thing about this though, about this merger, is I don't have confidence in the long term. I don't have confidence that in the long term with it. Like, and again, I'm just looking for a server that I can play and enjoy for years, that I don't have to like worry about it changing too much. So we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things. It's the same crap we've dealt with for the past 5 or 6 years with World of Warcraft, where we feel like I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I just jump ship all the time. It's like, oh, I play here, there. You know, it's the FOMO train. I feel like the FOMO train is so real in World of Warcraft. It's like, oh, Anniversary Realms, got to go play here. You know, oh, this new private server came up, we got to go play there. Oh, hardcore servers are, we got to play there. Oh, you know, Cargos is doing this like really cool event on Deviant Delight. We got to go play this cool new event. You know, it's just constant. Like I can never seem to stay in one area for very long because there's some new thing that the community's moving to. The other thing too, and that brings up another point, is that with streamers, right? Like the way World of Warcraft is right now, and the way MMOs are right now, is they're very, very, very streamer based. Where the big streamer, the big streamers, the ones that people care about, wherever they go, they pull so many people with them. Like when Throne of Liberty came out, if like all the major like MMO streamers said, "Hey, I'm gonna go play Throne of Liberty," the amount of people that would leave MMOs, whatever MMO they're in, and go play Throne of Liberty would be huge, right? I mean, just look at old school RuneScape. Just look at how some of the major vanilla servers said, you know, vanilla streamers said, you know, I'm not going to play Mist of Pandaria, right? I'm not going to play Mist of Pandaria Classic. You know, Soda Pop and, you know, Zaryu, some of these streamers, right? They just said we're gonna go play old school Ruby, and then all of a sudden you see all these videos coming out. Oh, old school RuneScape's having like a resurgence. Well, it's having a resurgence just because there's two or three major streamers that are playing it. Look at how when Asmongold went to Final Fantasy 14. Did you see what happened with Final Fantasy 14? It gained like freaking like 100,000 players, you know, or something insane. Like their population skyrocketed just because Asmongold played it. Now that's more on the um, skewed towards like the high end because Asmongold doesn't really do that very often. He doesn't go and play MMOs that much anymore, but he does command a large play, you know, populace. So, but what I'm trying to say is because of the population bouncing around from server to server, game to game, because everybody's looking for the next big MMO. That's the thing. Everybody's looking for the next big MMO that they can sink their teeth into, and most people want to play. Most people are like me; they want to get into an MMO and they want to play it for a long time. We don't want to play an MMO for 3 months, then go play another MMO for 3 months, because then you feel like all the time you spent in that first MMO is lost. Like I've got characters and gold spread across so many servers in World of Warcraft, and it sucks. How awesome would it be to take all the gold and all the materials, all the leather and the ore, from all my different characters across all the different World of Warcraft servers and bring that together into one server? How amazing would that be? I'd be fucking rich. You know what I mean? Sad to say, but there's also a place on Blizzard you can. You know, Blizzard make classical Horizontal here. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Well, we'll play it, Daniel. You know Daniel and Milan and Miles. If it goes like the original YouTube, it feels like they just merged with Ascension, like Google, so we can expect ads on every video. Legend of Mir. I never played Legend of Mir, Christopher, though. That sounds interesting, though. Yeah, you say it's sad to say, but there is also. Oh, yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about, Milan. There's no place on Blizzard you can call home. Yes. Yes, Milan. That's kind of what I was getting at, is you can't really. The point I was trying to make is that because of FOMO and because of the way the communication around MMOs works, it really revolves around YouTube and Reddit, and you know the information highway is fast in the gamer space, you know, and things change very quickly, as we've seen with Project Epoch. Um, and it's very difficult to get into a game and feel. And I fall victim to the FOMO just like everybody else, but mostly because I like playing new MMOs. If a new MMO comes out like Throne of Liberty or like Chrono Odyssey, I'm always going to play it. I'm always going to try it because I'm hoping to find something that I can call home. We all want to find an MMO that we can call home. That's what we want. We want a good community. We want to play with friends. We want to make new friends, right? We want to make new friends, and we want to play with our friends, and we want to create memories that we can think of fondly in in the years to come. And that's what I want anyway. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I want, right? And and it's just sad that it's been so difficult, you know. And I think because of the failure of all of the new major MMOs that have come out over the past like 10 years. And let's be honest, most of them have flopped big time. Like Lost Ark, although Lost Ark did do well for a short time. Eventually it kind of flopped. Throne of Liberty flopped. There's so many MMOs you can point to that have come out that have just kind of flopped. It's like a Diablo style MMO with the classes. Yeah, I never could get into Diablo too much. I don't like. I hope as long as it's. You said it's like an MMO though. I hate the Diablo. I hate the action. What do they call those games? Like Diablo? What is it? There's a name for those types of games. It's the action RPGs. I can never really get into action RPGs. So any kind of wave clearing MMO or RPG, where it revolves around. Oh, I'm just whatever. I need to create a big build so I can clear like thousands of mobs faster than you can. That's not my. Yeah, that's not the way I want to play. Yeah, this is I don't know. This is kind of crap. I think it's kind of crap. I think it's kind of crap. Um, we'll see if we can find any other people who've talked about it. Project Extension takes over. Massive project update failed relaunch. Most incredible project. The most incredible. This guy Muzzy's such a fucking. He's such a fucking clickbait. He's not streaming? Is he streamed 4 hours ago? If he buys into the copium on this, I mean, Muzzy seems like a nice guy, but he doesn't seem too bright. I want to hear what is this?
I'll hit that shit in a second.
Oh my God! Shut up.
This means account registration the broader both are long IRL events that made solving these issues challenging. Okay, as a team, we want to apologize. I'm shaking. On the Ascension side, Ascension will be responsible for building and maintaining Project Epoch Server Core. Ascension's infrastructure offers a massive upgrade in server performance, quality, security hardening.
Ascension didn't do this out of the goodness of their heart. I wonder how long they wait until they start introducing pay to win. As long as pay to win doesn't creep in over time, even years down the line, I see it as a win. This is the beginning of the end. I'm having Activision. Yeah, I'm having Activision Blizzard. That's I actually mentioned that. That's what this feels like. It feels like Activision coming in and buying Blizzard, which was basically the beginning of the end for WoW, to be honest. It's over. Ascension taking over Epoch is like Activision taking over Blizzard. Another person mentioned that as well. I think it will benefit Ascension. Yeah, whatever. No, why? Please, we voted. It's obvious. This is. I hope that this is just a joke. It's obvious they will get a kickback. Yes, they will. Doomers are on this. Good game. Ascension is trash. Ascension, I agree. I think Ascension is trash. I have not paid a dime to Ascension. I have, and that's why I think it's trash. I already talked about how Ascension got me to pay some money, and I hated it. I kind of hated myself. Played Ascension for like a month, and I looked at and realized how much money I spent on it because they're really good at monetization because they do it in a way that you're like, oh, I'll just buy this or I'll buy this, and the next thing you know, you start swiping the card, and then I realized, and then I went back and looked at how much I spent. And I'm like, oh my God, and I quit. I was like, fuck this game. I haven't been able to play. Look at this. This person, I have not paid a dime to Ascension, and I've been able to play all the content just fine. I'm just as geared as everyone else. Well, whoop-de fucking do. Great for you.
DDoS protection, player support, tickets, moderation tools,
No free rides, Danny boy. No free rides, man.
etc. Anti-cheat and exploit fixes, real money trading and botting.
Look at this. Is the face. This is the face of Copium right here. This is the face of Copium.
Mitigation and many more features. Ascension will be able to spin up and merge realms as necessary to handle population demand. This means account registration can reopen for the many players who are interested in playing with us. W Crummy. W Crummy in the chat. W Crummy in the chat, bro. Crummy's been here since. I'm gonna have a moment for Crummy, man. And whoever else is looking for accounts, man. Hey, appreciate y'all. Galen Live, welcome to Muzzy Family on Twitch, baby. Listen. All right. Project Epoch will be accessed through the Ascension. Wait, there. Okay, yeah, through the Ascension launcher. Okay, well, it'll be in the Ascension.
Let's read some of the comments here. Holy shit, mega update, mega crazy. This is mucho. This is very good. Yo, what the fuck is going on? We are so back, baby. Of course, people like that are Muzzy streams are going to be positive because he's like, because he's like such a copium, you know, because he said he's so copium. You know what I mean? He's like drinking the Kool-Aid. This guy drinks the fucking Kool-Aid like you wouldn't believe. So of course people in his, you know, he's trying to build his streaming persona, right? He's trying to build his yeah, God turned him off. He's trying to build his footprint as a content creator, right? So he's super uber positive about everything, right? Like he's not going to be negative. Like I can be negative, and every time I talk negative about something, like people are excited about Project Epoch, right? If I say something bad, I lose subs, right? Like I can go to my subs and see that every time I've ever badmouthed anything, whether it was Ascension or whether it was Project Epoch or whether it was Turtle Wow, if I said ever say anything negative, I lose subs, right? That's just the way the way it works, right? There's always going to be somebody who can't handle the fact that your opinion might align with theirs, right? But that's just me. As you know, I'm always going to give you guys what I feel. You know how I'm always going to give you the real view. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna like try to pretend like everything's great when it's not. Right? That's just the way I am. So, but I always feel like Muzzy, like he's just everything's golden. Everything's roses. You know what I mean? So
Ascension launch it. All right. All existing Project Epoch accounts will be moved to Ascension. If you already have an Ascension account, Ascension will handle the necessary work to merge your accounts. Ascension will help with the Project Epoch Discord so we can focus on making you content. This is in regards to moderation, support off. We'll do some quick detail roundup, and then I need to get to bed. All right, so
you need to get to bed. You are a weak man. um, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. That's all there is to say about that. What else can we talk about? I don't know. It just feels like. I don't know. It just feels like not. It doesn't feel like a good thing. Like my opinion of this is, I don't think this is a good thing. I don't think this is a good thing. I hope that they put. I'm just worried. The thing is, again, what I was talking about was like I want to get into a game that I know is going to be there a long time. Like I don't want to play an MMO where I think, oh, it's going to be good for a year and then it's going to fall apart, right? I don't want to be in that situation again, because we've all been in that situation time and time and time and time again. All you have to do is go back and look at look at my content on my YouTube channel, and just look at my streams. Like there's so many times I've started up characters and I've wanted to level them, like do like a challenge or something, but I never finish it. The reason I don't finish it's not that I don't want to finish it. It's that there's always some FOMO event where everybody's like, well, now we got to go play Anniversary Realms just came out, or Wrath of Lich King Classic just came out. We got to play that. Oh, hardcore servers are out. We got to play that. There's always something pulling you away from where you are, and which kind of sucks, man. That's why he subscribed to me. Thanks, Christopher. Appreciate it, man. Oh yeah, no, I'll 100% play Epoch. I will 100% when it comes, because I don't want to. It's the FOMO is real, man. I don't want to miss out on it if it is good. If the server comes out and it's really good, like really good, I want to try it out. And I would be lying to you guys if I didn't cover some of this stuff, or if I didn't play some of these things because I wasn't hoping to get some YouTube subs. I like getting more subs on my channel, just like any YouTuber, right? So of course it's fun. One of the things that does pull you, if you stream a lot, one of the things that pulls you is, it's not just the FOMO, but it's the realization that if you, like, for example, if I was just playing Classic Era and that's it, I wouldn't be getting any subs really, right? I mean, we can go back and look at my sub count and like how it's gone up and down, right? And the spikes in my sub count going up is usually when I've gone to play something new, right? So, if Katos loses more talent from his team, eventually Ascension will creatively control. Yeah, that's true, Miles. We're all going to play Epoch, but if I sense Ascension is corrupting the server, I will quit. Focus on Turtle Wow too. Yeah. The one thing that I really like about Turtle Wow is that they've been around a long time, and I feel like they're not really going anywhere, right? And and the content from Turtle Wow has consistently gotten better over time. That's the one thing that I kind of like about Turtle Wow is I feel like the content has improved over time. You know, they've gotten better at what they do, and it feels like they really care about the lore. Like a lot of the if you kind of go through the quests and stuff. When I was looking at the high elf zone yesterday, like last night, it was kind of cool. It was like you know the quests and stuff. It felt like they cared about the lore of the game, which I think is good. You know, so Magpie Cinder, we've all got it. Yeah. So you're sure 80% this would happen in like 6 months? Yeah. I just wonder how many people that work on Project Epoch were working on Project Epoch because of the fact that it was its own little project. Um, my concern once again is really greed. Like it's hard to turn down money, right? And you know, greed is a really bad thing. I think greed is I think greed is probably the single worst thing in the you know in mankind's history. I do. I think greed is probably the single most like destructive force in the history of mankind. And yeah, it's like the ultimate sin. And I think greed is what makes all the bad things that happen in the world. Most of them revolve around greed. So and so when I look at Ascension, that's all I think of is greed. I mean, they're out there to get your money. And so that's why I have a lot of aversion to merging with Ascension, is because to me they're based around making money. And that's I don't have, I don't drink the copium. I'm a realist, I'm a realist. I try to look at them from a high level, and not try to fall down and just be like, "Ooh, Ascension," or be like, "Ooh, Project Epoch, it's going to be great. Doesn't matter where it is. It's like, look at these great dungeons. It's going to be awesome." I try to look at it from a 30,000-foot view, but we'll see. Yeah. I told my wife I was going to come to bed tonight because I've been so bad. I've been staying up so late that I've just been falling asleep on the couch or in the spare bedroom, so I don't wake her up. But she's like, "Are you going to come to sleep tonight?" I told her I was, so that means I probably don't have much time to play. Otherwise, she's going to get mad at me. We had Cupo the Hunter.
For nearly 7,000 years, the High Elves nurtured a magical kingdom deep within the forests of northern Lordaeron. However, 7 years ago, the undead scourge invaded Quel'Thalas, pushing the elves to the brink of extinction. Led by the Death Knight Arthas, the scourge destroyed the mystical Sunwell, severing the elves from the source of their magical power. Now, a broken people, The surviving elves gather in the last bastion of their strength, Alathalas. Once abandoned and forgotten, it has been rebuilt and now serves as a home to countless refugees. Nevertheless, with no access to the Sunwell, the arcane addiction of the High Elves becomes a growing issue every day. More and more individuals turn to forbidden powers to quench their thirst. As a proud High Elf, it is now your duty to restore the former glory of your people and protect your newfound homeland. However, not all is as it seems, and the Regency Council's support for the Alliance may not be as unwavering as it appears.
They really should. I think that's probably Shanna's voice, but they really probably should use a different voice. Her voice isn't the best, I think, for those intro cinematics. Christopher, you say you have to play on your Steam Deck. My man cave is so hot that my computer is just getting a blue screen. Oh man, that sucks, dude. That sucks. Do you think Ascension would ever strong arm hijack Epoch from Katos? Well, I don't think there's ever going to be any kind of a legal thing. I doubt that would happen, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think they would, but I mean, they would be able to, because once Epoch gets on their servers, it's their servers. They run those servers. So, you know, it's like I've got a car, right? I've got an automobile and it's my car. But if the people that if I don't control the gas and I have to fuel my car to drive it, right? Somebody else controls the gas. Well, what happens when they raise the price on the gas? I have to pay it. Well, that's the same thing now with Project Epoch. You know, Ascension hosts their code on their servers. So they can raise whatever they want. Because what's Epoch going to do? If they say, well, you know what, you 50% of the proceeds you get on your cash shop, you have to give to us. What if they say one day, okay, 70% of your proceeds on your cash shop, you have to give to us? What are they going to, you know, it's not like they can really do much. You know, they want to leave, then since they don't have their own servers, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not a lot of legal discourse on a stolen product. Yeah, I agree with Jay. So, but yeah, it is you know, the Ascension has control. You know, Ascension has control because they are hosting it on their servers. Now, Epoch still exists. It's just they're gonna Project Ascension WoW is going to be hosting the Project Epoch code on their servers. So, yeah, Ascension Project Epoch, an Ascension company. No, wait, Project Epoch. Ascension WoW brings you Project Epoch. Project Epoch, an Ascension company. I just like, you know, have you ever seen like a company that's like bought out by another company? You know, like let's say like Blizzard was bought out by Microsoft, right? So it's Blizzard Entertainment, a Microsoft company. Now it's Project Epoch, an Ascension project. I don't know. Oh man. An Ascension production. Oh man. They're using 3.3.5a. Epoch will Ascent. Spent $500 to cash up. Nice. Yeah, it was Project Ascension. Yeah, it was. You're correct, Christopher. They don't call it Project Ascension anymore, though, do they? So, like, they have, look, in Ascension, all right, you've got Ascension, Wrath King Alpha, which I paid money to get access to the Wrath King Alpha, which who knows, and it's still an alpha probably. And I had to pay money to get access to Conquest of Azeroth Alpha, right? And now there's Ascension Classic Plus, which I don't even know what that is, to be honest. Ascension Warcraft Reborn Classic Plus, right? So this is Dutch. Yeah, this is Dutch. Welcome, Caffeine Injected. So it's the Bronze Beard. So their Classic Plus. It's so their branding of this is really weird. They say Ascension Warcraft Reborn Classic Plus, and then it says Welcome to the Bronze Beard. Like, I don't like how they have multiple names for kind of the same thing. That's kind of weird. See, and then here it says BB Plus, Bronze Beard Classic Plus. I would imagine is what that stands for. So. I'll give Ascension WoW some credit though. Their launcher is gorgeous. Like their logo, like they came up with, and their launcher, like their art team does a great job. I'll give them credit on that one. Yeah, Classic Luck is Bronzebeard. Yeah, I looked at the Bronzebeard though, and it looked like garbage. It looked like hot garbage. Like they were adding too much to the game, you know. Like let's take a look. I mean, why are there? Look at this person's video. Project Ascension Classic Plus is ridiculous. Here, let's see. What does he say?
Today we take a look at the Project Ascension take on the Classic Plus with Bronzebeard server, which is still currently in the alpha stage, but some of the new features are already available for testing.
It was too much. The reason I didn't like it, Sam, is I felt like they were adding like way too much overpowered abilities into the game. Like,
so by the end,
you know, like when you play like vanilla WoW, and you know, yeah, it's like it's just Ascension. Yeah, it's like it was just too overpowered. Like, it was like too many of like the more modern retail WoW abilities and stuff were pulled down into it. So it just felt like a Season Discovery. And like Season Discovery, that's all that was. All Season Discovery was, hey, we've got a version of vanilla WoW where we're going to take a bunch of abilities that exist in later versions of WoW. We're going to put them into this version of WoW. We're going to call it Season Discovery. And instead of just giving you the abilities from a trainer, you've got to go out into the world and discover these glyphs that give you these abilities. That's basically really was the whole, that was it. That was like literally like Season Discovery in a nutshell. Let's just grab some ability. Like 90% of the content from Season of Discovery was not new. None of it was new. Like all these abilities already existed in different versions of WoW. Like the only thing that was kind of new, and what was funny is all the custom content they put in was garbage. Like the PvP event in Ashen Vale was really poorly done. Like the bosses were super like easy to kill. It just wasn't, and they were like the Horde had an advantage because they had a flight path there, or the Alliance didn't. Or the Horde had 2 flight paths, the Alliance only had 1. I was just whatever. You're going to mount at level 5. Oh no way, Dan! Can you really? That alone, what Daniel just said, if that's true, you can literally mount at level 5. That alone right there just completely voids the fact that it's classic, because that's not Classic Plus. If you can get a mount at level 5, that immediately voids. You can't call a game Classic Plus if you have a mount at level 5. That's ridiculous.
of the video, you will have the answer: is the server worth waiting for? First, let's quickly explain the basic premise of the Classic Plus so we all understand what we're looking at.
Now, wasn't it? Is it Bronze Bow where they have this stupid like cosmetic shit where you can like do a quest or something and then you get this cosmetic and you can wear it and you can look like a Scarlet Monastery character or you know what I mean? You could so-called role play. So like again, that's this huge like transmog shit. Level 5.
For. Long story short, Classic Plus is the original take on the vanilla World of Warcraft that did not progress further through the expansions, but kept developing the original Azeroth that has been released in 2004. As we all know, back in the day the game was vastly underdeveloped, as many things were started but never finished.
They keep putting retail ideas into Classic Sea Discovery because Classic only exists to segue and rego. Nah, well, okay. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, Jay. I'm not really sure what you're trying to say. And the worst phase where people quit CSD was right when the War Within was released. Yeah. So you're trying to say a lot of people left a Season of Discovery to go play with the War Within? I just don't think. I mean, again, Classic Plus, what Classic Plus really means is different for everybody, right? But really, to me, Classic Plus is vanilla World of Warcraft, where you're level 1 to 60. You don't increase the level cap. You stay 60. All you're doing is adding new content to that experience. You're saying, hey, we did Molten Core, we did, some of the raids or whatever. You add stuff to it. Maybe you add like a new race. Maybe you add a new class even. Like a lot of people disagree with me on this point, but I don't have a problem with adding some new races to a Classic Plus. I think that's cool. Why not add? I mean, Turtle Wild did it with High Elves. Turtle Wild did it with like goblins or whatever. I don't have a problem with adding stuff. I just don't add it too quickly. You know what I mean? You're saying Blizzard only cares about Classic as he's a... Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, Jay. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, to me, I think Blizzard only cares about Blizzard only cares about keeping people sub to WoW. It doesn't matter what all the different iterations and the bastardizations of WoW that they put out. It all revolves around just keeping people playing their game. That's all they care about. Just keep them playing their game. You know what I mean? That's it. So it was clear in Phase 2 that Season was just low. Yeah, it was totally. Yeah. Hey, second. Yeah, definitely 100%. Season Discovery was a low effort project. That's what I was trying to get at. It's like 90% of it was just rehashing stuff they had already done in different versions of WoW and bringing it down into Season Discovery. There was nothing really innovative about it, right? Like the most innovative idea they came up was, we'll just make them glyphs. And even the name glyph is kind of stupid. You don't think we've already had glyphs in World of Warcraft? But now glyphs just mean like you've gone out in the world, you've discovered this new ability, which on the surface is not the worst idea. But, they really didn't come up with it. So, but back to Classic Plus. Like, to me, Classic Plus is just adding content to the existing world. Like, there's plenty of areas of World of Warcraft, of Azeroth that are not explored. You don't just add some new content, add some new dungeons, add some new areas, add some new stories. I'd really like to see them focus more on some more storytelling and making like more interesting stories. And then really flesh out stuff of vanilla that was really poorly done. Like there's plenty of room for improving professions. We could maybe add a new profession, but there's definitely was a ton of room for improvement for improving professions, right? And there was a lot of room for improvement in the classes in general. Like one of the things that was appealing about Project Epoch is that it was using the Burning Crusade talent trees, because the Burning Crusade talent trees address some of the shortcomings of a lot of the classes in vanilla WoW. And that's one of the things that people really liked about Project Epoch was it's still 1 to 60, but we've progressed from these vanilla talent trees to what a lot of people think are a lot of people think the TBC talent trees is probably the best or one of the best versions of the talent trees in all of World of Warcraft, right? Because it wasn't corrupted by power creep and some of the stuff that happened in later versions of WoW. And of course, once we got to Mystic Pandaria Classic, we didn't even have the talent tree anymore. We had that total bullshit they came up with where, level 15, you get to pick one of 3 things. At a level 30, whatever it is, it's awful. It's a god-awful system, by the way. But one of the things I thought would be really, and again, some of my ideas around Classic Plus, a lot of people won't like, but one of the things I thought would be really cool for Classic Plus would be, you've got 3 talent trees. I think one of the things that'd be cool would be to do kind of like what Rift did, where you have souls and you can just swap them in and out. So even though you only have 3 talent trees, you might have like 10 different souls. So I would like to, I mean, it would be really hard to implement in a Classic Plus experience, but if they did it very slowly, like let's say you've got a protection paladin, right? And you've got a holy paladin, and you've got a retribution paladin. What if you released a Classic Plus private server? You didn't tell people that this was in the game, right? You didn't tell people that this was in the game. But what if you're playing your paladin in a Classic Plus server and you discover some quest, and the quest forces you to take some poor choices, right? And some of those choices cause you to go against kind of what being a paladin's all about. But at the end of a very, very, very long quest chain, you have the option of adopting a different path. Now, this is very like Baldur's Gate 3, guys. I'm really going Baldur's Gate 3 on this one. But you have the option of going down a dark path and becoming a kind of like an evil paladin, right? And if you do that, you choose to go down that dark path, you open up an entirely new talent tree, right? That's one of the things that I think would be super cool in a Classic Plus environment is, and of course, you can't overdo it, though. Yeah, kind of like, exactly. It's basically Oathbreaker in Baldur's Gate 3, 100%, Daniel. It's basically, it's exactly what I'm talking about is Oathbreaker. But I'm saying that to me, and again, a lot of people wouldn't like the idea because they might think that it's too much, but I think that there are things that you could add to Classic Plus that, like that, where you could maybe bring in like a different talent tree. But it has to be done in a very good way, and you can't do it like, let's say, like Guild Wars 2 does this, okay? Guild Wars 2 does it, right? Like every expansion in Guild Wars 2, they bring out like a new specialization. They call them specializations. So in Guild Wars 2, you just you have a new specialization. And you still only have 3 talent trees. The 3 talent tree system is a really good system, right? The 3 talent tree system is a really good system. And the ability to swap different specializations into these 3 talent trees is the ability to swap out very unique builds. It's the same thing in Rift. And the reason I like Rift so much is Rift has 3 trees, but you have souls, and you can swap those souls into every tree. So like if you want to focus your character to be more of a healing cleric, like if you've got like a cleric and you want to make your cleric more of a healing cleric, you can swap in a soul tree that's more specific to healing. And the healing could be a hot healing cleric where the heals are like heal over time, where the focus of the healing comes from healing over time. Or you could slot in a more of a direct healing cleric where you have really strong casting heals for like maybe main tank healing. Or you could focus on a healing soul that's not really heal over time, but just like instant, like really fast healing. Like you can get out your heals really quickly. Or an AoE healing. So what I'm saying is it gives you a lot of customization. So I think Classic Plus, I think that would be a really cool thing to put into Classic Plus, but it has to be done very carefully. And you can't overdo it, because once you overdo it, you're going to lose the feeling of Classic Plus. You're going to lose that vanilla feeling. So like if you did it, like let's say you added a specialization like the Oathbreaker to the Paladins in a Classic Plus server, you could only do that like maybe once every couple years, maybe once every 2 or 3 years. So like maybe once every 2 years, right? So let's say for the first 2 years of this Classic Plus server, there might be this one other specialization. And you might add one for each class in the game. Like maybe the priest has some sort of really unique quest that they go on to unlock some sort of unique talent in a specialization that they could then slot, into their talent trees, Actually, and I would change the talent tree system so that it was a slot system, because that way you don't have to and what I mean by that, you guys probably understand what I mean. But if I go to Turtle, wow. Shit, what did I do? What did I do? There we go. What I mean is you would have a little slot up here, like a circle, right? And you would have different specializations. And so you would just click this. Like there'd just be like a little slot. You'd click it, and then you'd put whatever specialization you want. So, okay, I'm going to put in Beast Mastery. And then I click this little circle here. Okay, what specialization I got to slot into this for this tree? Okay, I'm going to put in survival. And then I click this one and I say, okay, I'm going to put in my, I don't know, whatever the new specialization would be. You know what I mean? So that way down the road, if we add 2 years later, we add a fifth specialization, that way you don't have to have a talent tree system that has 5 columns and just based on which one's active, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, this one's these three of these 5 are active. You wouldn't want to do that because it would just take up too much room in the interface. So you still would just have 3, but you would be able to just slot in and out which one you want. And again, it's very Rift, so like the game Rift MMO. But I would love to see something like that added to a Classic Plus because it just really, it's so exciting, and you'd only have to do it once every couple years, and it would just add so much excitement to that class, You'd love to, yeah. So you basically would be an anti-paladin, yeah. And I don't know how you'd do the faction on that. Like if you became like an anti-paladin, would you then switch to the Horde? You know what I mean? Would you have to switch sides, or would you become not Horde, not Alliance? You'd become something else altogether. You become a Ronin at that point. You're a samurai with no master. I'm chewing on some cereal here. Why is she not attacking? Oh, it's because this is non-aggressive. But that's something I would love to see. Blizzard can't make proper Classic Plus, because that would become the main game. Yeah. There was always a thing at Blizzard where you could just tell that they were so. They always said that they didn't feel like you think you do but you don't. But I think deep down inside, at some point, people behind World of Warcraft at Blizzard realized that if they made too good of a version of Classic Plus, that it would overtake retail. And I don't think they really wanted that. I think they always wanted retail to be the main focus. But then it got to the point where WoW subs was dropping so badly that the investors on the board, all they cared about was money. So at that point, that overrode that kind of sentiment. And right now, I think we've gotten to a point at Blizzard that they don't really care about what version of WoW is the best version of WoW. They don't care. All they care about is that you're playing their game. That's all they care about. We just care that you're playing. We don't care what version you're playing. It's just as long as you're playing, which is not a good take, I don't think. It's not a good way to think of it, but you think you just become hostile to Silver Hand. And that's one area, I would say that's one area of WoW that I'm really bad at. I don't know the lore of WoW really well, and I am not the best person if I made my own private server, and I wanted to make custom content like that, I would have to have someone on my team that could really help me with those types of things, Christopher, like the Silver Hand, and understanding how these changes could fit into, the lore of the game. Yeah, this is Turtle WoW. Yeah, that's all they care about, Daniel. It's just how do we get more people in the game? Yeah, I'm telling you, Milan, the people behind Ascension are they're just rolling in the mud. They're rolling in the dough. There was some people on my Discord. I mean, I'm retiring from Epoch hype, not that much now. Hey, Psycho, what's up? I'm retiring hopefully in like 10 or 11 years, and one of the things I would love to do is create a gaming project, work on my own game, or we'll see. But there's some people like Foxy, who Foxy used to work on BattleNet, so he actually worked on BattleNet, so he has experience with networking and infrastructure. And I would love to get together with some of these guys, and that's one of my dreams for retirement, is to be able to work on kind of like a gaming project. And I always wanted to create my own MMO, because I already have a document that I've been working on for the past 15 years on kind of what that MMO would be like. And my people always think about, well, you can't make an MMO by yourself, and that's true. But here's the thing: artificial intelligence is getting so good. Think about how fast AI is progressing, right? I'm retiring in like 10 or 11 years. How good do you think AI is going to be in 10 or 11 years? Right? I may actually be able to create something by myself by then, just because of the power of AI. But I'm still gonna have to put in some time into some other stuff. But we'll see. But it'd be quite cool. Do I have ideas for future project games? I do. I have ideas. I have ideas for like my own MMO. Yeah. We get to live on the moon. Yeah. I have ideas on what my MMO would be like. Yeah. You know the sad part? The sad part, Stranger, is that I've played WoW ever since it came out, and during that, from 2004 till now, there's lots of times when I come up with really, really cool ideas, like systems or ideas for things that I would put into an MMO, and a lot of times I've forgotten a lot of those things. And there was one time I came up with one that was so, I don't want to say revolutionary, but it was so unique. And I told myself when I thought of it, because I was on stream at the time, I was like, I need to write that down. And I didn't, and now I've forgotten it. And I remember at the time thinking, this is one of the coolest things I've ever thought of. And I think people in stream were like, holy shit, that sounds awesome. And now I can't even fucking remember what it was. And with the fact that I've done like, I don't know how many streams I've done, but it's in the thousands. I don't think I'm going to go back and watch thousands of streams to try to find it. But I need to get into a war room someday with some people and just hash out what my MMO would be like. But I do know one thing, that my MMO would be multi-dimensional. And what I mean by that is there would be dimensions, different planes of existence. And the nice thing about having the different planes of existence in an MMO with a system of, write down an Oathbreaker idea. The nice thing about that is it opens up pretty much almost infinite possibilities, right? Having different planes of existence that you can get to, but they're very difficult to get into, because the portals, or the being able to go from one plane to another, requires a very, very powerful sorcerer to basically open that up. Of course, there are other things where the plane could open up on its own, but it does pretty much offer almost infinite possibilities. Oh yeah, paid chat. I have a paid I've been paying for ChatGPT for a long time. Use Fabric to extract knowledge from videos. You can specify. That's pretty. I never thought about that. What is Fabric? What's Fabric? So creating pattern. Okay, that's cool. You want me to write down an Oathbreaker idea? I don't know. All right, I'll check Discord. Let me check it out. Yeah, that's kind of what ChatGPT was telling me. Augmenting humans using AI. That's cool. I'll look into that. Yeah, thanks, Milan. Yeah, there's like I come up with ideas all the time. Like I come up with like different ideas that would be good systems to put into an MMO, and sometimes I write them down. And the worst part is, even the ones I've written down, a lot of them I've ended up losing. You know. Let's see. Like here's a just what I caffeine injected would want in a modern MMO. Here's like these are just different ramblings I've had. You can see I've got a folder on my hard drive called Visual Studio Code Ramblings. What makes make Classic WoW special? I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is like what makes Classic WoW special. And then what's this other rambling? And then what would make Classic Plus special? Easy wins, fix glaring issues, missing from vanilla, add class, change quests. I kind of was theory crafting around like what we could do for a Classic Plus version, but I used to have a document that was like things I would add, and I have no idea where it is. I probably lost it. I'm too disorganized, man. But it's hard to do these things when you're working. Like when I'm retired, this stuff's gonna become a lot easier. Which one's better? I mean, Windows 10 is if you're trying to play older games, Windows 10 is going to be what you want. But if you're just playing newer games, like if you're worried about playing newer games down the road, I think Windows 11 is fine. I haven't really had any issues with Windows 11 other than there's one private server I couldn't play the game because it just wouldn't work on Windows 11. But I mean, Windows 11 is pretty good. I couldn't really tell you for sure. I don't know enough about the differences between the two, but I haven't really had too many issues with Windows 11. Outside of just not being able to play Elion private server with Windows 11. I almost rolled back to Windows 10 just so I could play a private server, but I didn't want to have to uninstall and reinstall everything. Yeah, and it's interesting because you talk about the Oathbreaker, right? You talk about the Oathbreaker in Baldur's Gate, and what they did was a little different. Like to me, the Oathbreaker, like if we had a paladin, right? Oathbreaker. I'm not going to call it Oathbreaker. I'm going to call it Unbeliever, right? So the paladin, you lost faith in your god, right? You lost faith in your god, right? And so you've gone down a dark path. So I would think of is like what would make a paladin like go down this dark path of becoming evil, right? I would think it would have to be something that was really based around his religion, right? Like the paladin is a protector of the light, so there have to be some sort of shortcoming, some way in which God had failed him on such a terrible degree that would make him want to forsake his own faith and go down a dark path, right? So the quest would have to revolve around that, right? That idea. It could be something to do with his family members dying, and God not being there to help, or his faith being trampled on somehow. You know what I mean? But what abilities would this like evil paladin have, right? I never played Neverwinter Nights. I always wanted to. I think I owned the game. I think I owned Neverwinter Nights. I think I did play Neverwinter Nights 1, but it was so long ago I don't really remember, But the basis of Paladin, right? So the base magic of Paladins, right, is holy magic, right? Is holy magic. So if you were like a new Paladin, so new Paladin specialization, talent tree. New Paladin specialization is going to be called the Unbeliever. And we're just going to call it Unbeliever. Because you don't believe in your faith anymore. So you're the Unbeliever. And it would revolve around, like, what would it be revolve? Because that's revolve around something. Like, it wouldn't be holy magic anymore. So, like, when you do damage, how would you do damage? What does becoming an unbeliever? How does that give you any strength? How does that give you any power? I mean, you're not constrained to the systems of having to be good, right? So you can be very evil, very dark. So she ends up blaming herself and eventually becomes a blackguard. Blackguard. That reminds me of a Realm of Reckoning, Warhammer, the Blackguard and Warhammer. Now, the Blackguard and Warhammer revolves around siphoning life, I think. I think they have some dark magic. But I mean, there's two ways you could go, I think. I think immediately I think of two things. One would be like what they did in Baldur's Gate 3, where they kind of went down like the dark magic path of like, you have like this kind of shadow magic, think of like a shadow priest, old god, insert name, adopted and corrupted paladins of shaken faith. Oh, now see, that's a good idea. Think about that. Think about and that kind of ties into the MMO that I would create. The MMO that I would create would revolve around a system of gods, right? There's a name for it, but I can't think of it. It's escaping me right now. But the game would revolve around patrons, right? Like everybody in the game would kind of either have their patrons or they wouldn't have their patrons. Some people might have patrons that are lawful, good, good patrons. Like some people might worship patrons of evil, and some people might not worship patrons of any patrons at all, or the patrons they have are neutral. But because you follow certain patrons, you may gain certain, and even Guild Wars 2 has this to some degree, but you may be able to gain some sort of special abilities from your god if you offer them up the proper sacrifices. But when you think, that's the thing. You said old god, adopted and corrupted paladins. So that's kind of interesting. So instead of having your faith, which gives you holy powers, right? Your holy damage, right? You could fall under some sort of other god, or some that basically kind of adopts these corrupted paladins as his own, and he kind of gives you this power, right? Like because you now are under his wing, you kind of adopt some sort of new power, whether it's like shadow magic or blood magic or something. I would want to create something totally new, something like different. Like we have arcane magic, we have shadow magic, we have blood. I'd want to create something different than all of that. Yeah, you have like the void, Chaos. That's a good one, Chris. See, then you just came up with one. Chaos, right? Because you think about different types of magic, right? Types of magic, right? You've got holy, shadow. You could do like a blood-based, right? Just think of like leeching, vampiric kind of thing, right? But chaos is really good, and actually that would be almost my choice of where I'd go with the Unbeliever. Would be chaos, right? That's actually a really good one. And then of course there's arcane. You could do. I don't really think of frost as like magic. Frost seems a little different, so I would just say elemental, right? Elemental, right? Because elemental encompasses, frost, fire, earth, wind, actually, air, right? But yeah, I think chaos would be a really good way to go. So when the paladin like forsook his Patreon, his gods, he might have fallen under a different patron, and it could have been a patron of chaos. And so his spells or his abilities are now rooted in chaos. So instead of having holy strike, or you might have chaotic strike, you know. Instead of having blessings, you might have, you know, almost like a warrior, where you would have like some sort of cries or dark, you know, dark packs or dark sigils, right? You could have like chaos. School of Magic, chaos, you know, abilities, right? You could fall it down to, could be sigils, right? It could be sigils. Or, I don't want to use runes because we've kind of been there, done that. Chance, maybe? We haven't really done chance a lot. But I think of a chant as more like a monk thing, but you could do chants or something, you know. But I don't really like chants for this. I think sigil's kind of interesting. I don't know. No, it's not Ascension. No, this is nothing at all like Ascension, so. I'm tired of losing faith. Yeah. Gnosticism. Where is my, let's see. Gnosticism. The true God versus the creator of the material world. Gnosticism is a term historians use for a set of religious and philosophical movements that arose in the first few centuries, mostly around the Mediterranean, that emphasized secret spiritual knowledge, gnosis, as the path of salvation. I never heard of Gnosticism. Hey, Peter, what's up? What do I think about the merge? I think ultimately I don't think it's a good thing. I think short term it's a good thing, but I'm concerned that long term it's not a good thing. Right? I feel like the greed of Ascension, because Ascension seems like such a greedy project. They're all about making money. I feel like their greed would eventually leak into and corrupt Project Epoch. Also, I don't really have good, fuzzy, warm feelings for the leader of Project Epoch, just based on Katos's Discord comics, which sometimes have been very, very, I don't know how to say it. Some of his times his Discord comments have come across as being very rude and kind of angry ridden, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but so yeah, I think like short term it's great. It'll help them get their server up and it'll probably be stable. But I think long term it could be a bad thing if they let Ascension's greed leak into like cash shop stuff and that kind of stuff. And I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think their buffs should be obtained through flagellation. Oh no, Christopher, the flagellation, the destruction of the flesh. That could be interesting. Yeah, I like that idea. Right. But there's a lot of different things but again, these are things that you have to theory craft. You have to think about. You know, you can come up with all kinds of cool stuff, and you kind of have to go around in circles until you nail it down into something that feels like it fits the overriding theme of what you're trying to do. But I certainly don't think this is Ascension level at all, Samuel. I think this is basically, like I said, I would love to see a Classic Plus where they do something unique like that. Because to me, Classic Plus is you're keeping it in the same vein of vanilla. You still want it to feel like vanilla, right? But you're adding new stuff. Like I'm not opposed to adding like an ogre race to like a Classic Plus server. Like, oh hey, like you release Classic Plus, and I liked what Project Epoch did with reskinning dungeons, like making Dead Mines look better, and because I think that's a great idea, because especially if you have a more modern client, you can go into those old dungeons and just modify them a little bit, make them look better, modify the existing content, because that's an easy win, right? People already like the Dead Mines, we know that. Go in, change the encounters a little bit, add some new bosses, do like what they did with the Dead Mines was fantastic. I loved it. Some of the, I mean, I'm definitely going to play Project Epoch because I'm super excited to see their new content. I'm just sad that they couldn't do it under just their own umbrella. So, Azeroth at War, or I have no idea what that is. And I have to get to bed here, guys. I have to go to bed pretty soon. I don't know what Azeroth at War is. It's a private server. Is this the new one? Oh, no, wait.
Hey guys, Mr. Mighty here. It's been quite some time, and I'll tell you, a lot has happened in the Vanilla Plus scene in the last couple of years and since my last video. Today, I want to talk about the new Azeroth at War Vanilla Plus private server. I've been doing some soul searching for quite some time now, and accidentally stumbled upon this project in 2020.
Azeroth at War. I've been hearing about this server for a year, maybe even over a year now. Extremely custom server. What kept me away from being really interested in it though were the somewhat underwhelming trailers that I've been putting out. But nonetheless, it looks really good. Many new races, custom content, so I
Well, you can see their art team isn't that good.
figured might as well give it a better look now, since there's pre-patch coming for this server, coming on the 2nd of May. Which is literally hours away. Here's the pre-patch trailer.
Regarding our class design, or rather the redesign philosophy, we find our foundation resting upon 4 pillars. A node tradition. Our talent trees will be designed on 7 tiers. Each specialization will have between 17 and 20 talent nodes, with flexibility granted for new concepts such as the formidable melee hunter. Oh, okay, I'm sold. I'm sold already, Christopher. They got the melee hunter, or dual wield paladins, which is cool. Pivot to the past. You'll be working with 51 talent points at level 60. Our trees will contain between 46 and 58 possible talent points. No more, no less. Okay, so that's, you could actually have 58. So you could have more than 51. You will encounter familiar talents from TBC Rattlers. Prepare yourself to surprise any talent additions, bring any flavor to the original. Okay, so what are the classes though? Each race comes like class and race combinations are different from live WoW. And Azeroth at War, there are a total of 28 races and 10 classes to choose from. There are a number of new variations available when compared to vanilla WoW. The server continues to maintain an approach to follow past Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, building upon those games where possible to keep available choices consistent and sensible. In vanilla classic WoW, shamans are limited to the Horde, while paladins are limited to the Alliance. Shamans provide totem buffs, while paladins provide various group buffs and utility via seals and blessings. Their classes are, however, available to both factions in Azeroth War. Each race comes up with unique racials, base stats, and a combination of classes. So, Shaman. The Shaman, we can have a Dwarf Shaman, a Human Shaman, a Naga Shaman. There's a Naga in the game. Races. A Furbolg, Naga, Worgen, Wildhammer Dwarf, Dark Dwarf, Kaltiran Human, an Altaraki Human. And the Horde have a Tainted Orc, Skeleton, and there's an undead, and then there's a skeleton. There's an ice troll, a dark troll, a goblin, a blood elf, a dark fallen, which looks like Sylvanas, by the way, a wretched elf, which, just okay, an ogre. Finally, we've been wanting ogre in a while forever, and a Murloc. I don't want to see Murlocs as okay. This I dislike. I don't want to see Murlocs as a playable race. I really don't want to see Murlocs as a playable race. Nagasaki. I'm sorry, but I don't want to see Murlocs as a playable race. That's just silly. That's just 100% silly. This is from 24. New dungeons, new races. Here's look at the new races. The Naga. Draenei, High Elves. They got High Elves? Murlocs, Ogres, Forest Trolls, Goblins. So they have these new races, but then when we looked at the classes, there was... Oh, wait, let me go back. But when we looked at the classes, we saw different races. Like we saw like the Wildhammer Dwarf and the Dark Iron Dwarf. Yeah, I just think Murloc is... Yeah, I don't like having a Murloc. And I don't know what this Dark Fallen looks like. Let's go back to the... let's go back to the new races again. Oh, they have sub-races. Okay, so those are the sub-races, though. Remember, we saw the tank. Like, here's the Ultra-Rocky Human. Here's the Dark Iron Dwarf, the Wild Hammer Dwarf. And here's the Tainted Orc. Skeleton. If you want to be a skeleton, you can be. Ice Troll, Dark Troll. Yeah, these are the sub-races. Yeah, I figured that out. And how to play. This section will be affiliated. So we don't know when they're going to be able to play it.
Interesting new starting zones. I like it. And this is probably the most interesting part, the new sub-races. 8 a.m. EEST. What kind of time zone
Free
is that?
patch.
This video is not sponsored by Azeroth.
How come this video was... This video was from a while ago. Yeah. I don't know... Like, to me personally, like, why would you... Like, if you're creating a new project, right? Why come at it with so much new stuff? Like, I would try to do all this at once. Seems like a lot, doesn't it? Like, why not just come at it with, like, maybe, like, 2 new races? Like, and the Murloc is stupid. Whatever. I don't. Maybe I would just, like, bring in the ogres and bring in maybe, the high elves. Start off with just those 2. You know what I mean? Here, let's register an account. You got some weird CAPTCHA crap. Your account has been created. Hold on a second. Let me add this account to my password manager. We've got the, what is it called? Azeroth at War. And username. All right, so we've got our, where's the Discord? Okay, I'm let's see, vote, donate. What, they have a store already? Uh-oh, you're lost. We went to the store. There's no store yet. Let's go to the account panel, right? There. I guess I shouldn't show you guys my account. There's nothing to really see on my account panel. It's just been member, and actually nice that they blocked stuff out. Vote. I wonder what the vote. There's a vote section. Uh-oh, you're lost. There's nothing here. Account panel. Teleport hub. I don't know what that is. Uh-oh, you're lost. Okay, they have a lot of the stuff just... Where's the Discord? Relaxing, can actually wear gear. I'm looking for like the official. Here we go. This is their official YouTube. They don't even have their Discord here. Here's the Murloc. Okay, new Murloc animation. This is a year ago. Let's take a look. Yeah, see if you can find the Discord. Murky. He's got gear on. What is this? Well, you can see when entirely
An officer was dispatched to a bar to evict a group of people who...
You can see that the animations were not good. Like that bow animation was pretty awful. I mean, it looks like the people that are behind this aren't, they're not top level, they're not top level private server developers. So this private server is still in development, is not yet released. Read the pinned messages. I'm in the Discord. Their Discord's a little bit of a mess. I mean, you've got welcome, you've got announcements, it's mailbox, I don't know, you got staff recruitment. But under the community channels, there's a shit ton of them. Questions, DE, I don't even know what some of this stuff is. PTBR, French, I guess these are different languages, German, Spanish, content creators videos, guides, pets, food, okay. And then they have sections for different suggestions. There's a lot of them. Some cosmetics. Yeah. Geez, no. All right. But thanks for the Discord, Chris. So I mean, what does it really mean to say that pre-patch starts on May 2nd? Because we're way past that. You know, this is some other private server called Azeroth at War. How to connect. This section will be filled out with, so they have this thing that says how to connect, but it's not up anymore. So what's that mean? Like, the link does not work. We're not allowed to play for some reason. Is the project dead? So you can see, and there's no response from the team either. So, you know, yeah, I mean, something like this seems like this is like this is one of those hopium projects. So, yeah, I don't. This is one of those projects we'll have to wait and see. There's nothing to really see. It's like basically nothing to see right now. There's just nothing there. Like you can't even like they have a link for the pre-patch. You can't even. It's dead. And you saw people posting. I mean, when you have a project, that says, you know, here, let me go back. Shit. This one. When you have a project that has a pre-patch and that has a link to to how to connect, and people like are responding on your Discord, on your YouTube, like people are actually asking questions like, you know, like the link doesn't work, is the project dead, and you're not even responding like on your own YouTube. That's pretty bad. Yeah, you played in the beta. That's pretty bad. I mean, you can't even like. I mean, you're obviously not super involved. Like you're not. It's just the communication isn't there. You know, if I ran my own private server project and I was doing something like this and I was putting out videos, I would be Johnny on the spot, man. I would be looking at this shit every day. Every single day I would look at every post on my YouTube, and I would respond to every post if I could. And if it got to the point that there were too many people, I would hire somebody to deal with responding. You know what I mean? I would make sure that there was a presence, you know, so that people knew you were there and you were paying attention. And so, but yeah, we'll see. Again, it's just another. I mean, the content, like the quality of the content they made, from what I could tell, didn't look that good. But we will see. We will see. Announcements. The first official artwork. Yeah, the thing with Epoch is I'm just kind of pissed at Epoch. Like this whole shenanigans of their Discord is bullshit. Like you cannot post. This is just bullshit. Like you can't even post on their Discord. So you're gonna sit here and you're gonna read this huge ass fucking announcement with all this stuff, right? And you can't even on their own Discord fucking write a post. That's just bullshit, right? This is just their whole Discord is bullshit. It's just bullshit. I can't post on your Discord. Like, what does that tell you about the people that run the project? And they're gonna be like, well, we closed it down because there was too much toxicity. Well, that's your own fault. Like, moderate it. Moderate it. People are douchebags. Fucking ban them. They come back in with a different account and they're douchebags. Ban them again. You know. So this is just this pisses me off. Obviously, that you put up a big, huge announcement, and all people can do is like thumbs up or thumbs down, right? You know, and people have to go out to YouTube to either create their own stream or to like go watch somebody else talk about Project Epoch. Huge update.
Here we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Okay, so major update and announcement, guys. This was just released. Then we would have been absolutely no. This vision is it's a great, amazing vision. I'm very interested in seeing how that actually comes to fruition, if it ever comes to fruition.
And it's funny, like almost all of the streamers almost all the people like this guy, I've seen this guy's videos before. There aren't like a ton of people that have been constantly putting up videos for Project Epoch. There's a few, right? There's like 5 or 10 that I see on YouTube all the time that are constantly putting up content for Project Epoch. Out of all of those, like when you saw this thing come up, I mean, I didn't even have to watch this to know this guy's probably going to be like, yeah, this is probably a good thing, right? Like Muzzy probably, yeah, this is probably a good thing. You know, I think Barry's gaming probably won't be like that. We'll see. I don't think he's put up a video yet because he's usually sleeping now. But this guy has been doing Project Epoch stuff. Wow, I don't see anything. How does he must do it. Where does he put it up at? Because he was doing Project Epoch stuff all over the place. Like here, I was brought Barry Gaming 2. So this is his other channel, right? And so you can see he's done all these videos, but he actually is one of the people that actually has been pretty good on his takes in that he's more of a realist like me. He's not like you know, like what the fuck was that failed relaunch? I mean, I don't know if he'll be more likely to give us an honest opinion, but these other guys, like this guy, they're all drinking the fucking Kool-Aid, man. They're all like sucking the copium down in mass quantities, right? I agree with when you say I think this is a good marriage, but maybe okay. Well, he does say but, and this baby's sick of a view. Would have Epoch just outright sold to Ascension? Ascension speaking $3, yeah, whatever.
And I think that if we want it to, this is the way it's going to happen. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but honestly, time will tell. I think too many Project Epoch key people left, so they thought they just had to sell it.
Okay, that's a really funny statement. I think too many Project Epoch people left, and so they had to sell it. Where did you? Okay, you know, if you're like doing a video on something and you just put some general comment out there, look, where's your proof? Where's your proof that people left? The only proof we have is 2 people have left. That's it. 2. One was a community manager. One was Magic. That's it. Right? Like, where's your proof? I hate it when people do this. This is just speculation. He's just pulling shit out of his ass. He doesn't know anything, right? You know?
Honestly, I that could be part of what it is. I honestly feel that the main issue that happened is that they just realized that it was an issue they could not fix. Okay? It was too much of a...
Again, another just guessing. You know, just guessing. I think that there was an issue they couldn't fix, so they had to go to someone else. I think what happened is they realized they bit off more than they could chew. There was way too many people. They didn't have the infrastructure to handle that many people. They probably could have got the situation fixed eventually, but they couldn't get it fixed in a time frame that they wanted. Project Ascension came along and said, hey, we'll come in and we'll help you out. You just have to give us like 50% of your proceeds from your cash shop, and we'll just host your servers for you. And all you have to worry about is making content. And they're probably thinking, well, this is a great idea. Now I can just focus on creating the game content and I don't have to worry about all this server bullshit, which has been a total royal pain in my ass for the past 2 weeks, right? And all I have to do is give them some money, like half my money. That's fine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Christopher, I agree with you 100%. I think Ascension came in and said, we're going to take all your pain points away and let you just do what you want to do, which is create custom content. You know what I mean? And they said, hey, that sounds like a good idea. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what would happen if Ascension did that. Yeah, I have no idea. Why the hell am I seeing Olivia Rodrigo? Don't recommend this channel. I constantly go into YouTube and have to like do this kind of shit. Ooh, Sky Sports. Not interested. Ooh, just give one.
How long do we think each one will take?
I don't know. Who cares? 4 hours apiece?
Yeah, maybe for you. Each one of those tasks would take me 3 max. Not tasks, stories. I've got a story. Why don't you choke on my balls?
He's trying to get us to compete so we work faster. He thinks this wall of Psych 101 MBA mind control bullshit is going to motivate us.
Fine, don't compete. Do them at whatever speed you like.
So we're gonna work at a nice leisurely pace, right?
Sure.
But why are you tapping faster?
I'm not. Maybe my leisurely pace is just a little faster than yours.
Oh, cocksucker.
Booyah.
Guys, have you been out front yet? Because you might want to come see this.
I'm good.
Fuck off. We're working. What was that?
Silicon Valley is one of my all-time favorite shows, but I'm a developer, so you can only imagine why. But after TJPSE Stairs, I think they probably got a much worse deal than they got a week earlier. What is, I don't know what you're saying, after TJPSE Stairs, what is that? Anyways, I gotta get to bed. It's late. Yeah, my wife's gonna kill me. Yeah, Silicon Valley is one of my all-time favorite shows. Love it. Yeah. Oh, after those stairs. Oh, okay, those. Okay. I don't think that. Yeah. Yeah, that was just somebody put in. They just put the asset in the wrong location. Wasn't a big deal. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of that. The Amomar fiasco. You know.
That is a narrow car. Fucking billionaires.
From putting all of Hollywood back in line.
That is a narrow car. Fucking billionaires. All right, I'll see you guys later, man. Have a good one. You guys have a good one, man. Later. Later.